Tired, it's late, but I wanted to get this video out. I had the pleasure of seeing Terrifier 2 opening night in the theaters. It was awesome, a great experience. And back when I did reviews, I did one for Terrifier, which I enjoyed that film. I know some people were kind of meh about it, but for me, I enjoyed it for what it was. And I've been following Art the Clown even before Terrifier, with All Hallows Eve. I've always just thought the character Art the Clown was always badass. And I do believe that after this film, he's probably going to be an icon. I really do think that, at least in the sort of cult scene, which, I mean, it could expand further than that, because I would like to see a Terrifier 3, bigger than what this one was. But let's talk about Terrifier 2, because this was one of my most excited films of the year. I was so pumped to see this damn film. Now, first off, I just want to say the theater that I was in was awesome. Everybody that was there was so excited to see Terrifier 2. When you go into the theater, sometimes you'll have a group of people that's excited for the film. You'll have a group of people that's just trying to, do something, kill an evening. You'll have people that are on date nights, and you'll have people that are just trying to go to the movies and hang out. This theater was just nothing but Terrifier fans. And I love that. I love seeing a film when it's just nothing but fans, and that's why I love the horror community so much, because I mean, when we went up there were people just talking about it, and there was this one dude that we met up there that he had been there for 2 hours, and he was so excited talking about the film, and it's nice, and I love that experience. And I even went to the bathroom, and then before the movie started, and walked in, and I was this dude was trying to hold the door open for me, and then I held the door open for this dude, and then everybody was excited to see the film. And I think that's very important to talk about in this discussion, because we don't get films like this that much. Almost 2.5 hour long slasher film. I mean, that's kind of unheard of. Now, I do have my opinions on that, and I will, express them. But let's talk about the good for this film, because this film was fantastic. I mean, this film was great. The first Terrifier film, quick, 84 minutes. I mean, that's kind of what you get with a low budget film most of the time. I mean, you're not going to have a crazy excessive runtime. But for what Terrifier, the original one, was, I enjoyed it. There wasn't much backstory with Art the Clown. There wasn't really much of a story at all. I mean, that's kind of the truth about it. But this film, man, they definitely do up the story. And it's not necessarily that they up the story and they take the dial from 1 to 10. They just give you enough to where you can sort of start piecing some things together, which I won't spoil anything, because I have some crazy as shit ideas in my head right now about what this film was actually about and what it was trying to do. And that was, I can appreciate that a lot, because I feel like for Art the Clown, those type of characters, when they remain, sort of ambiguous, and you don't really know exactly what their motive is, and why they're there, and what they're doing, and why certain things are happening, I do feel like that's a very big, plus to these types of films, because the mystery itself is just enough to, kind of freak you out. And, not that this film is necessarily scary by any means, even though there are some pretty creepy scenes. The mystery behind this film, it's not as simple as just, locking your door at night. It's I mean, this film goes deep. I mean, it's almost like you can't escape Art, and I think that's what makes him such a terrifying villain. And just seeing him on the screen and his mannerisms and just what he does, it's very impressive. David Howard Thornton, which I've had the pleasure of speaking with, he is awesome. I mean, he is great in this. He takes Art the Clown and he bumps it up to I'm not even exaggerating, 15. I'm not even kidding. I mean, this movie is brutal as fuck. This movie is fucking brutal. I'll just say it. This movie is fucking brutal. I won't spoil any of the kills, but if you remember the hacksaw scene from Terrifier, there is most definitely a scene in this that rivals that I don't want to talk about. And after watching that scene, I don't get squeamish during stuff. I don't. I'm not really scared of anything when it comes to movies. It takes a lot to get under my skin. I had a sick feeling after watching that scene. It just felt so off, and it's just because of how good the special effects and the makeup and just the practical effects. Wow. I mean, and I think it helps since Damien Leone is not only a director, but he also does the special effects. I think that really does help. It probably saves him a lot of money too, but I think that really does help because he gets to control these scenes, and I feel like you know, that can actually you know, help in a way with direction. You know, if you have a director that also does the soundtrack, or you have a director that also does the cinematography, that's one thing that I'm kind of used to. If you have a director that wants to do the special effects, I feel like you can sort of have more creative control over what you're trying to do, and I think it really does help out with the vision. Not to say that you know, there's not people out there that can do that, but you know, when you're working with a budget, I feel like that's a big plus. So this film is brutal as shit. I mean, there's no other way to put it. I could see people walking out of this film. I actually think there was some people that walked out. I'm not exactly sure if they ended up coming back in. I remember watching 3 people walk out at the same time. So yeah, that was kind of interesting. I don't know why anybody would want to walk out, but yeah, it's brutal. And I wouldn't be surprised if this film, I know this film has like a 4-day theatrical run or something like that, maybe a week. I wouldn't be surprised if some theaters pulled this film. I'm not even kidding. It really is that intense, but I think for all the right reasons. I enjoyed it a lot. I don't know, that might make me a sick person. But Terrifier 2 was fantastic. If I had to get into some of the negatives about the film, and there's not many, and I feel like, I don't know, I'm a little bit biased, you know, just myself, because I know how hard it is, you know, to make a film. But I think the biggest thing for me when it came to Terrifier 2 was its runtime, which I've heard a lot of people talk about. I actually even heard somebody, when I walked out of the theater, somebody said that, you know, he was talking about Damien Leone, like I think he edits his own films, and you know, he was talking about how it was too long. And I do kind of agree. I do feel like, you know, it is best to work with an editor. Even me with The Hunt for August Red, I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but the Hunt for August Red, my original rough cut for The Hunt for August Red was 2 hours and 2 minutes long. And it could have been longer, but we cut out a scene, so I have a deleted scene for that. And I trimmed it down from 2 hours and 2 minutes to 1 hour and 46 minutes. And that was the final runtime. And that was just trimming off, you know, just like, you know, some dead air, some, you know, just things that sort of drug on. I was able to remove a few lines, a few bits of dialogue that didn't need to be there. And I feel like this film could have used that a lot. I know this film is for the fans, and like I said, you know, Damien Leone, he can do whatever the fuck he wants. I mean, that's just the honest truth. This is his film. So when I say that, that's just sort of just, you know, kind of how I felt personally. You know, I feel like if this film had maybe even just 10 minutes shaved off of it, you know, like I feel like the pacing would have been a lot better. I actually didn't have a problem with the pacing up until like the last 30 minutes, and then I wasn't like drug out of the experience at all. But I mean, you know, I was just kind of sitting there like, okay, this is a little bit long. You know, I'm still here for it, but it is just a little bit long. So yeah, and I know it can be hard at sometimes getting rid of scenes that you like, but you know, but in the end, who gives a shit? He made it, and it worked. People are watching it. I'm so happy for this team. You know, you can tell the love that they put into this. It's just, you know, I'm so happy that something like this has come out, and hopefully, you know, more stuff like this is being made. You know, I feel like this film is very important for, you know, up and coming filmmakers that are working independent, and, you know, horror fans that just like to watch the movies. You know, it's a very inspiring movie, for sure, and I'm so glad I got to experience it. Definitely check out Terrifier 2. You know, I'm not even just, you know, being this isn't me being biased at all. You know, seeing it opening night, I truly enjoyed this film a lot. I think just my biggest issue, some of the plot points, you know, I would like to have seen them be elaborated on a little bit more. I think that's maybe just me wanting more, honestly. So yeah, definitely check out Terrifier 2 if you can in theaters. Wonderful film, wonderful experience. But anyway, guys, choked on my own spit. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a thumbs up and maybe subscribe. Hope you guys are staying safe out there, and I'll see you guys next time.